Well, this is Facebook Live. I'm Dr. Tzvi Pearlstein, and usually when I'm on Facebook Live, it's playing the trumpet. Places like Casablanca Cafe, Funky Biscuit, Johnny Brown's, somewhere. And I'm playing music. I've been playing with Tony Wilson, Young James Brown. And it's been great knowing Tony. And I have my singing dog. And, I tell people that playing the trumpet is my highest form of prayer. Well, what is prayer? What's real? Is it real? Are the things you're finding as answers to your life, are they real? Are they the real deal? What's the truth? So we're seeing all kinds of problems today. We got the highest anxiety, stress, depression, opioid use, opioid deaths, suicide deaths, obesity epidemics, adults and kids. This isn't just in America, it's worldwide, and it's in the medical literature. Come from a background of being an orthopedic surgeon. Ortho means straight, pedics is children. How do you help a child grow physically straight? Which is great. But what happens if the pain is from inside? What happens if we're taught about all the externalities, but we're missing the fruit? How do we get to the fruit, to the truth? So the truth is what we should all be seeking. And truth also means balance in life. You want to find balance. Shalom, peace, is also about wholeness or balance. Health is about wholeness. All from the Middle English hal, H-A-L. Balance, wholeness, connectedness. We're not an island unto ourselves. We need to be part of something more. We each have an identity. And that identity is whatever you've been made to be or what you choose to be. So you're a son or daughter, brother, sister, father, mother, aunt, uncle, your job title, relationships. Everything that's your identity is a matter of connectedness. Who and what are you connected to? And prioritization. Certainly, a lot of the key things we don't choose. Who you're born to, who your parents are, where you're born, language, country, social stratosphere, social financial stratosphere. All these things are not choices. So, and there you are. And you're thrown on garments, so to speak, from your parents, from neighbors, from culture, from school, from TV, from expectations, and you advance. You go from small to big. No huge physical transformation there, just mostly in size. And suddenly you are who you are. You're formed. And the question is, who are you? How do you identify yourself? Are you doctor, lawyer, Indian chief? Are you the guy with the muscles? The girl with the sexy body parts? What makes you tick? What makes people tick? And we're seeing kids, students, and adults, different people coming in shooting up schools, innocent children and teachers. When I was a kid, it was a post office that workers would come in and shoot up. But today, shooting up schools, shooting up concerts, innocent people. And they say, what happened? Why? And how did you feel? Look, what's going on is people are in pain. We've lost our focus, our connection, our truth, our balance. We've lost our way, and we need to fix it. We need to fix it. You know, I learned a long time ago from a dear friend that the word America, although from America Vespucius, the explorer, that America also has a Hebrew, derivative. America's nation, Reka, emptiness, nation of emptiness. You know, it reminds me of the Jews in the desert, biblically. Jews in the desert, before they had Torah, were pretty aimless. And that's us here. You know, we've got democracy, freedom, capitalism, freedom to make money, and we think we're free. How are we being free? What is freedom? Is freedom being a trans? Is freedom being the biggest bank account? Is freedom driving the biggest car? Is freedom running around naked in the streets? Is freedom, what the hell is freedom? I'll tell you what freedom is. Freedom is knowing your responsibilities, knowing what your place is in society, knowing where your feet should be, what you should be doing or not doing with your mouth, behaving properly. Nobody's an angel, nobody's perfect, but there's too much pain in this society. There's too much craziness going on. So, look, I grew up with a Holocaust survivor mother, and I knew the pain of hell. She, in Poland, as a 14-year-old, saw actions. These were rounding ups of people, beating them, shooting them, burying them, devoweling cats, dogs, pets, doing evil and murder and evil, one human being to another. Why? My mother hid 2 years in a hole in the ground. 2 years, inability to stand without proper light, sleeping on dirt, cockroaches, pig crap coming down. And what the hell? So, and my mother would have told you that 2 years, what she did to survive, because who knew when the Nazis going to come in, or anybody come in, find her, rape, maim, kill. Any moment, any of that could have happened. What did she do? She had an ongoing conversation with God. That was it. That was her religion, so to speak. You know, I looked up the word religion some time back, and there's a root, relign, from the Greek that means if you have a small sapling, it's going to grow to the sun. But if you want to direct the growth, you put a tie and a little stake down, and you pull the sapling a given direction. So everybody in the things we do every day has their own religion. I'm not talking Judaism, Christianity, Islam, Buddhism, Taoism, Confucianism, Hinduism, etc. I'm talking about we all have our habits every day that direct our growth. You know, we look at society, whether it's shootings in schools, whether it's changing sex, whether it's opioid addiction, depression, Prozac use. We have a problem. What about just something simple? Obesity epidemics, adults and kids in America and worldwide. What is that? It's a pandemic. Why is that going to be? We know it's not healthy. It's not our best interest. Did they sell us simply on the first meal of the day is the most important meal? They're going to sell pancake mix, eggs, butter, milk, you know, all the products. If we buy it all for breakfast, but if you eat dinner, you haven't used that food yet. You know, there's no reason to eat first thing in the morning when you're going to be most able to use your brain and be active. What's going on? What's the reality? What's the truth? Let's look at opioid use. Why is somebody going to use drugs, whether it's opioids, heroin, or other, when you know it's not safe? So I'm going to break it down. I'm going to talk about fun, I'm going to talk about happiness, and I'm going to talk about joy, as I see it. Fun for me, that word is a downfall of our society. It's used all over. Are we having fun? Are we going to have fun? What are we going to do for fun? Did you have fun? This is people of any age, kids, grandkids, kids, adults, grandparents, fun. So fun could mean simply something of happiness and family togetherness, something of loving kindness. But you know what fun ends up meaning in the big picture? Think about college years. You know, sex, drugs, rock and roll, so to speak. It's an energy level that's not balanced or normal. Fun is the kid on a roller coaster. And he loves being on a roller coaster. And he gets off, he wants to go again, or cries, he wants to go on a bigger roller coaster. Why? Adrenaline. Adrenaline's pumping in his veins. He's got adrenaline in his blood. He's got a drug in his blood. So what is that all about? And why do we see with entertainers OD? Why do we see ODing repetitively among entertainers? And, you know, my book, You Are Not What You Eat, which is this book on Amazon, You Are Not What You Eat. I talk about John Belushi and I talk about Robin Williams. Why did John Belushi have to OD? What was that about? Why was he using drugs? And why did Robin Williams kill himself? So what do I think? Well, when these entertainers are in front of an audience, watch their energy level. It's off the wall. They're pumping adrenaline. They're pumping adrenaline. They're having fun. What's the audience doing? The audience is getting entertainment, humor, laughter, balance, health, something good for them. But what's the entertainer doing? They're having fun. They're running on adrenaline. Now, the audience has to go home. The entertainer has to go home. What do they experience at home? You've heard that a lot of comedians have depressive natures. They go home and they're depressed. Why are they depressed? Why should they be depressed? And what is depression? Is depression what the mental health experts say it is? I don't think so. Don't think so. Don't think so at all. What do the entertainers experience? They go home. Do they have happiness, balance, health, wholeness, wellness at home? Or are they empty, depressed? Because that fun, that adrenaline kick has replaced their sense of happiness. That's their only sense of happiness. They never learned happiness. They didn't learn it at home from parents. They didn't find it in school, on TV, in religion, if they practiced. They didn't find it. So when John Belushi went home, he wanted to be happy. He didn't want to be depressed, empty. But there's no audience there. And there's no adrenaline to make. So you replace the adrenaline with putting drugs in your vein. And he OD'd, as so many did. They don't know what happiness is. And what about Robin Williams? You know, they say he died. Initially, it was reports of Parkinson's, Lewy body disease. But why would he kill himself? With a wife, kids, wonderful wife and children, a home, a foundation in life with everything good, people loving him. What was missing? Something was missing. He didn't kill himself because of the disease per se. But I believe he felt he could no longer create the adrenaline. He wasn't able, because of whatever his disease, to entertain the audience, which was necessary to create the adrenaline, which was his happiness. But it was fun. It was a high, a physical high. So what did he do? He was empty. The things that should have given him happiness, he didn't know of. He didn't learn happiness at home, didn't learn it growing up. He killed himself. So unfortunate. And all these deaths. And now we have kids going to opioids, to drugs. We've got fentanyl coming in. Why would somebody put pills in their body when they know it's poison? They're seeking fun. They're seeking an experience to give them what they think might be a false happiness, but a very painful experience. We may all know people who've died from opioids, drug, OD, or this fentanyl happening, coming from China across the border through Mexico. It's a big problem. So what can we say about fun, happiness, and joy? So, we talked about the religion word in relying is to have things in your life that balance you, that connect you to truth, to what's important. And I'll say it, to God. To God. As my mother spoke with God, so to speak, in a hole for 2 years that kept her alive, we all can have a conversation with God. And God is speaking to us in all our experiences of the day. If we just have our schedule and follow the schedule, it's about us. But if we're open to the experiences, the places, the people we meet, most importantly, and get to know them, we'll find there's a reason we're meeting these people. Everything with a reason. Let's go back to fun. So fun is what? It's a physical adrenaline kick. It's not a substitute for happiness or joy, which I'll share with you what I've got in my book. And yeah, I want to promote my book. You Are Not What You Eat. It's on Amazon. You're not what you eat because you're not a body. The body's the spacesuit. Who we are is a non-physical entity, which I'll discuss further later. If I continue these Facebook Lives. Fun, a physical adrenaline kick, transient, meaningless. Now that's not to say, as we said, that you can't have fun simply in a family endeavor or simple loving kindness relationships. Well, what's happiness? Happiness is real. Fun, it's it's unreal. It's not what you want. We should be thinking happiness. Happiness is not an end goal. Happiness is a tool or a vehicle for success. By the way, I didn't learn these things from teaching. I learned these things from experience. And, unfortunately, it takes the bad experiences to create the wisdom. And so strength and courage. We all need strength and courage. In Hebrew, it's chazak v'amatz. It's on my father's gravestone. Strength and courage. It's what we need to do what we need to do in this life. It's all about action. It's all about action. And doing the right things. So happiness is what? Happiness, in my book, requires 3 things, and it's teachable. And people should learn. First, you can't rely on yourself. You're flawed. You can't rely on other people. You'll be let down. You won't be happy if you rely on yourself or other people for anything. We got to put God in the position of reliance and know that God is good, the Creator that created all of us and everything and is everything. God is good and everything's for the good. There's an expression in Hebrew, Gamzu Latova, Nachum Gamzu, my father was Nachum. It means comfort, but Nachum Gamzu Latova, everything's for the good. You know, we have challenges, struggles, pain, sickness, cancer, death, Holocaust, murder, everything. Somehow, we don't understand the big picture. That's God's vision, so to speak, and it's all anthropomorphic because ultimately we can't understand God. But we can get closer to God. Happiness, accepting God as the all, the creator, the father, the healer, everything. And everything somehow, we don't get it. All the pain, somehow we accept it's for the good. We have to. We have to in order to keep our sanity and to be happy. And happiness is a tool or vehicle for success. You want to be successful? Choose happiness. Choose God. Okay, that's step one. Everything from God, everything is for the good. Second step to be happy is what? You got to be in the moment. If you live in the past, coulda, woulda, shoulda, you won't be happy. Could, would, should, you won't be happy. So you got to control your brain. Where your brain goes, guess who's in control? Your soul controls your brain. Once your soul is in your body, invigorating everything, everything's alive. So your brain can go off. Your brain can go to crazy places. You got to put stops and controls and fences around the function of your brain and control it. Very important. Be in the now. All you have in life is one moment. Past gone, future isn't. All you got is this moment. You can be in it or not. It's your choice. And thirdly, to be content with your lot. How the heck do you stay content with your lot? You got 1,000,000 compartments, more or less. That's your lot. How do you stay content? You want good weather, it's bad weather. For a function, for a wedding, a party. You want to go skiing, there's no snow. You want to go to the beach, it's raining. What about health? What about sickness? What happens when sickness happens? How do you be content? What happens with whatever we live with? Well, we don't have a choice with certain things. You know, we make our best choices. We live with our choices, but, you know, it's a relationship. It's you and God. There's what you choose in your life, and there's what God gives you. You know, for those who are faithful, you might think everything's from God. You don't have any choice. But you can choose. You can go the left road or the right road. One way good, one way bad, one way better, one way worse. You make your choice, and then you live with it. And you live with what you get. And guess what? If it's too hot in a room, what do? You tweak the thermostat. Too cold, you tweak the thermostat. Everybody has a thermostat of mental contentment for everything. For everything. And if you want to be happy, if you want to choose, you don't want to pursue happiness. You want to maintain happiness. Number one, everything from God and for the good. It's a skill and it's a practice to live. Number two, you live in the now. Not the past, not the future. They don't exist. All you have is this moment. Life is one moment. You never have more than one moment. And thirdly, you tweak your thermostat of contentment. I'm okay with that. And that's it. And you'll be happy regardless. Homeless? How do homeless people make it? How do penniless people make it? How do people without make it? And why do many people who have all the abundance in the physical, why are they not happy? Why do they also go to drugs and OD and suicide and opioids, etc.? Why? So fun, a physical, transient, meaningless physical adrenaline kick in the big picture, the fun that many of us are talking about. It's not a balanced wholeness or wellness. We seek wellness. It's not about all this nonsense stuff that's being promoted out there about feel good. It's about an internal existence of the soul that has the body as a spacesuit to use in this physical world. So happiness, a mental thermostat of contentment trick that can be taught to kids and learned and practiced, but it takes viable, healthy, wholesome people to teach it, to learn it and teach it. It takes a community, and we know that. We look at all the disruptiveness and all the lifestyles that we think, people think they're free when they do anything they want. It's not freedom, it's havoc. It's lack of wholeness and balance. Everything has ups and downs, whether it's light and sound waves, whether it's the ocean, whether it's finances, the economy, everything has ups and downs. It's a matter of achieving healthy balance. All right, so then there's joy. What the heck is joy? So fun, we talked about, happiness. Joy is something else. Joy, or simcha in the Hebrew, is knowing that you're connected. You as a soul. Forget the body. Forget that as important as the body is. You as a soul entity are connected to God 24/7, 365. You can sing and dance at any moment. I'll play my trumpet any moment. It's a huge, joyful thing to know that you're connected as the real you, as soul entity. So I'm going to talk about who we are as soul, because they want to tell you your externalities. That, for fun, it's about adrenaline. For happiness, buy this car, make this money, have this house, have this sexy lady or this wealthy guy, whatever it is. That's not happiness. And for joy, jump for joy, but joy is soul. So you've got physical, mental, and soul. Yep. So what does it mean, soul? What does it mean? Well, look, in medicine, my problem became, I had a problem because orthopedics is ortho straight, pedics is children. How to help a child grow physically straight. And at age 35, bumping into my heritage in Judaism, looking for answers, I run into a word orthodox, ortho straight, and dox is doctrine. How do you help a child grow non-physically straight? And suddenly at the age of 35, whereas having gone to Princeton and medical school and did orthopedics and served as a major in the Air Force, traveled the world doing orthopedics, I thought I had mind and body covered. I was also a competitive tennis player, professional trumpet player. Thought I had mind and body covered. But there was always something lacking in me. I had an emptiness. So suddenly I bumped into soul. What is that? Well, that's the real you. Mind and body is simply the spacesuit. It's your computer, your heart, emotions, and eyes, ears, nose, mouth, etc., arms, legs, all the body parts that have physical functions, including the brain. But then there's the real you. The real you is the divine soul. I didn't know it till age 35. And I said, wow, I worked my brain, mind and intellect. I've worked my body between tennis and gyms and running, sports. I never purposely worked or knew of my soul. You don't have a soul. You are a soul. So, I think I'll round out here. I don't know if anybody's listening, but I'm going to finish up this first Facebook Live, which I'll try and do regularly, with thoughts from my book, You Are Not What You Eat, Dr. Tzvi Pearlstein. You are not what you eat. As a soul entity, you have use of your computer brain. You don't want it to run amok. You don't want it to be like a computer with viruses and needing resetting, etc. You want to have control of your brain. You can be in the present. You come back if you need to memory to make wise decisions. You can think into the future. But you need to control it and control what you think about and how you think. Your emotions, you have control. Your soul is in control. You know, if you're going to feel anger, should you express anger? And by the way, going back to the mouth, you know, your mouth is huge potential for good and for harm. You know, you've got walls of the mouth. There's the teeth, there's the lips, there's a tongue to plug. You can put your hand over. Silence is golden. The mouth can be murderous, very dangerous. The soul has control. You need to decide who you want to be, what you want to be. And I'll finish up sharing with the concept Machasida Shekel. The soul is a half of a whole. You have potential other halves, but they're your connections. I began in the beginning talking about connections, those that are thrown on you, those that you choose, and how they're prioritized. So, you know, for me, the Star of David is a Magen David. It's a triangle or pyramid, point up and point down. So symbolically for me, it's you. The Star of David, the Magen David, is you and me. It's each one of us and how we're prioritized. You know, when God's at the top, the spouse, important relationships next, family, kids, community, and down to nothing things, you're prioritized in a wholesome, healthy way. What happens when your main other half is not God? The other half, the other primary half, is God. When God isn't your other half, then you flip upside down because God doesn't play second fiddle. So we look at what's happening in the world today. We look at our leadership. We look culturally what's happening. We're looking at the breakdown of conventional wisdom, of conservative wisdom, of values that we've lived with for hundreds of years and what America was built on. Do we want to be a wasteland? Do we want to serve other countries which are ruled by despots and evil? Or do we want to maintain true freedom, which is under God? You know, we can't throw under God out of the pledge. We can't throw out the pledge. We can't throw out God bless America. We can't throw out God on the dollar bill. It's all about connecting to truth, the signature of God, Emes in Hebrew, and making this world a better place. It's about what our destination is. Is it serving our own physical pleasure, or is it about serving God? You want to serve God, choose God. What does God mean? Everything good. Every place we come from. The Creator, the Healer, the Father, for all of us and for everything. We need to wake up. It's about time. We need to wake up. All right, that's enough. We addressed a bunch of things. We addressed fun, happiness, joy. We addressed the divine soul and connection to God. We addressed the lack of understanding of happiness, especially in entertainers, where it's about fun and adrenaline kick, and how happiness is not an end goal in life. It's a tool. It's a valuable tool. It's a valuable tool for success. And success does not mean what you're taught, you know. Is it real? Is success what they teach you? Or is success being a child of God? Yep, living wholesomely, in balance. And what does it mean? All right, we're going to get to a lot of other topics. Look, I'll share with you what's in my book, You Are Not What You Eat. I'll share with you from the table of contents. Being on a diet. Diet and tide have the same letters. Being tied up, $100 billion business, obesity, and weight reduction. Is there truth there, or is a lot of nonsense? Is it a soul problem or a physical problem? We need a new paradigm. What's the soul-body relationship? What role does the math play? If you've got different motivations in life, are you crazy? Or is there something schizoid about who we are? What role does exercise play? And are the gyms the place for answers for health? Or are we often hurting ourselves with the type of activities and exercise we do? What's the healthy balance in exercise and everything, in eating? What about building a system requiring justice, righteousness, loving kindness, holiness? We've got a lot of things to talk about. I'm going to talk about the lobster as a model for our lives and the changes in the lobster life cycle. I'm going to talk about mental health and how I believe the mental health experts, for the most part, have it wrong. How depression, manic depression, or bipolar, schizophrenia, and other issues are not what they say they are. It makes a difference whether God and soul are in the system of health or not. They're currently not. They're not accepted in healthcare. I believe they need to be, and that's a big part of why I'm doing this. I'm going to talk about what's really happening. What's the power of crying and laughter, and what's really happening on a soul level when that happens. I'm going to talk about MRI and how, except for cancer and infection, it's one of the biggest frauds out there. I'll talk about what's happening with surgery, a lot of surgery, chiropractic, acupuncture, what's really going on. Anyway, that's the first of perhaps a collection of Facebook Lives. We'll see if anybody's interested. I got this book, You Are Not What You Eat, Dr. Zvi Pearlstein, and it's on Amazon. Have a blessed day. Ciao.